In Chapter 5 of All Quiet on the Western Front, the soldiers sit naked, attempting to delouse themselves. Paul casually discusses the difficulty of getting rid of lice, as well as the remedy that Tjaden has come up with. They're also preoccupied with the return of Corporal Himmelstoss. To distract themselves, they begin discussing what they would do if the war suddenly ended. Their answers reveal a craving for immediate comforts like food and women. When Himmelstoss appears, the soldiers treat him with hostility, knowing that he has little power over them now. Tjaden openly insults him, and Himmelstoss tries to pull rank on him, commanding him to stand up. When he refuses, Himmelstoss threatens Tjaden and storms off. Tjaden says he will gladly accept a few days in jail because it will give him good opportunity to rest. The soldiers try to recall how many of their classmates who volunteered have survived. Only 12 of 20. They jokingly try to remember the things they learned in school, and Paul notes how useless all of that information is to them now. Muller insists that they'll all need to learn an occupation once the war is ended. He wonders what they'll do, having never had any job other than being soldiers. Paul says he can't even imagine his future, and he begins to feel confused and hopeless. Himmelstoss returns with a sergeant in tow, looking for Tjaden. Paul finds Tjaden and tells him, but Tjaden disappears. That evening, a trial begins, with each soldier called to testify. Paul attempts to explain Tjaden's behavior and animosity toward Himmelstoss. The lieutenant is sympathetic, so Tjaden is still given 3 days of open arrest. Locked up in a former chicken coop, Tjaden gets some much-needed rest, plus his friends can easily visit. Kat and Paul decide to catch some geese they saw earlier in a shed. When a dog attacks him, Paul shoots the dog, but it doesn't die, and attacks him again. He's able to escape with one of the geese, and he and Kat kill and roast it. The war has forged a strong bond between Kat and Paul. Paul notes that they're as close as two people can be. In Chapter 5, the technological advancements in warfare during World War I are depicted as being more efficient at killing humans than the soldiers have been at killing lice. This reinforces the war as an indifferent killing machine. The conversation between the soldiers about their futures reveals how little life experience most of them have had. Paul worries that many of the young soldiers recognize how drastically the war has changed them, perhaps rendering them unfit to return to civilian life. This generation of men was referred to as the lost generation in the aftermath of World War I, not only for the staggering number of men who lost their lives during the war, but also for the aimlessness they felt upon returning to their civilian lives. Their identities were wholly wrapped up in war.